Hello, hello. Scented Dreamers Dream. Well, I should say Dream Team Chat tonight. I am Michelle Ornelas, and I'm sorry if you hear my froggy voice because last week I was sick, still recovering, but hey, that's okay. I am here. No matter what goes on in my life, I am always making sure that my business is a priority. So follow up is a great topic for me to go over. Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight, and I will try not to go squirrely. I do sometimes do that. So I will try to stay focused. I have my notes in front of me. If you hear little things or see any cats, I have 2 kittens in my room. So just in case you're not like there's a rat in your room or something, it's a cat. So first and foremost, I became a consultant about 2.5 years ago. I loved Scentsy. I actually bought Scentsy for probably like 12 years before I actually thought about joining. I had done direct sales for different companies in the past 20 years. It's actually been 20 years ago that I started with Party Light. And I definitely always loved home fragrance and decor. So being a consultant of other things, yes, that definitely helped me. But when I joined Scentsy, it wasn't because I wanted to, become a director or, do sales per se. I just wanted that connection with people because I started in COVID. So in 2020, I joined, I quickly jumped in I don't even know you guys how I did what I did, but I did it. And so from the beginning, put that to follow up. I put that to my customer service. I put that to my a vision board. If you have a vision board, that's a huge thing. If you have a goal, that is going to keep you motivated and keep you wanting to do the follow-up, wanting to connect with people, wanting to reach out with people. And I think that is huge when it comes to follow-up, because we all have those moments in our life where we don't necessarily want to put ourselves out there. I have anxiety. I have moments where I don't want to talk to people sometimes. So you have to figure out what's going to work best for you. So step back before I go any further. So I did promote to director in 2021. I definitely did not see myself going down that road when I joined, but I quickly got to that point of joining becoming a director. And that I think also motivated me to connect with people because I had that vision of like where I wanted to go. So if you have a vision board, if you have a goal or whatnot, put it somewhere, because that will, every time you think like, okay, I have to make my car payment this month, or I have to, pay the bills for the electric bills, or whatever you're putting your Scentsy money to, even if it's for a trip, even if it's for your kids' college, whatever it is, every single time you look at that vision board and you know what your main purpose and your why is, that's going to motivate you to do the follow-up. At least for me, that helps me. So first and foremost, Amy's gone, right? Now what do we do? Do we have a system in place? Put it in the chat if you do. I am old school. I do like pen and paper, but I loved Amy. And I loved the fact that it gave me reminders and that it gave me that like follow-up, like reminder of, oh, this person hasn't purchased in this many days or whatnot. So you want to pick something that's going to work best for you. Project Broadcast is something that I have kind of dabbled thinking of starting, but the simplest thing for me, I wanted to start with what's free and what's available to you guys without having like Excel or anything like that. I wanted to start with like a Google Doc form. And if you don't know the Google side of it, I can kind of write like a brief description and then show you kind of my template after, because I don't have that already done. I started it. I promise I started it, but I didn't finish it. So the main thing is to have something that works for you and your system. So if you have Excel, then you could definitely use Excel. If you want Google Forms, then go to google.com and you can create one. Now you want to have your own separate business email because you want to have that separate, and then it's free, like I said, and you're just going to create a sheet. So the main thing is, if you want to do that like Excel, Google sheet kind of tracking, then you want to have something set up to where you know who your customers are. Obviously, you know who's ordering. That's kind of the start, right? So if you don't know let's just start from the beginning. If you don't know who's ordered from you in the last 30 days, let's say, go into your dashboard and you can run a report and you can run it off of the purchase date. So if you want to start with that, you could start with that. If not, then you could just start from your order history and you can go to the history tab and see, okay, here's the last 10 people that have ordered with me. And I'm going to start with that follow-up. So I'm going to start with the Google side of it. And then if you want to also think about, if you're a pen and paper kind of person, this can kind of work as well. You could still run your reports and whatnot. So what's important is to start like, okay, here's today. I had 5 people purchase yesterday. What is the first thing that you want to do when someone purchases? Number one, in my VIP group, I always thank them. This is a huge part. I am a very big believer of being sending thank yous, saying thank you 5 different ways. Okay. If anything, my customers will tell me that I am always so nice about thanking them and giving them gifts and whatnot. But again, do what's best and works best for your business. But for me, saying thank you on my VIP, recognizing them, and if they're not on your VIP page, sending them an email, sending them a text, whatever system works best for you. So going back to your Google form, you're going to note Jane Smith purchased, and you want to have a follow-up system of that now that Amy's gone. So there is actually printouts that you can print out on the website as well, but I'm going to talk about that after. So the system of 2 by 2 by 2, I'm sure you guys have heard. If you haven't, there's also another one on there, 1 by 1 by 3, I think. There's a couple different things over the years they've put in to the back end, so you can always go into there as well and look for that. But basically what you want to do is have that follow-up system in place, in the fact that you know that you're going to start from the time that they order, the time that you've said thank you, the day that you did it, whatever detail you want to write about it. And then if you sent them happy mail, if you are going to track that you sent them a text, however you're going to do it, those are the columns that you're going to create. Sorry, I talk with my hands a lot. You want to have that in your columns. So if you're going to say, okay, I sent them a message, they purchased today, I'm going to send them a message in 2 days, whatever, you follow up with them or whatever you're going to do. Then about a week or so later, the order has been delivered. So very, very important. You want to follow up with that customer and say, okay, I see that your order has been delivered. How are you loving your brand new wall diffuser or whatever it is, right? So I can't tell you how many times that I've followed up with customers and they have just been like, wow, thank you so much for following up with me, for reaching out, for connecting with me. Because when you order from Amazon or Target or wherever, right, they don't call you, they don't text you, they don't send you happy mail. So if you're that person that wants to really pay attention and follow up with your customers, this is definitely something that has helped me. So 2 days, 2 weeks, whatever you want to do, like I said, and then 2 months later, they haven't ordered. You want to check in with them, see how their Scentsy stash is, you know, whatnot. So that is kind of the follow-up in the Google Doc. If you're going to create one, that's the kind of lines or the columns, sorry, that you want to create, right? You want to have something that's going to give you that tracker to be able to follow up with those people. So pen and paper, same thing, right? You can print something out. You can have something in a binder. If you don't have a binder, you know, simple binder like this to kind of keep all the things in there that you want to have. Like I said, those forms that I printed out, these little documents, your power hour follow-up, all these different things are in your back end. So those are all things that are available to you. But if you're not a paper and pen kind of person and you really want to have a system like Amy, then doing a Google Doc can definitely help you. But then Project Broadcast is something that costs money, but you could definitely go into thinking about having. So going back, sorry, I keep going back and forth between the 2 columns. Going back into the Google Forms. If you need help with that, like I said, I will share something. I don't know, Brianna and Alex want me to post it, or if you want to add it with your replay, but I'll send it to you. If you want it, let me know. But I will definitely give you kind of that overlay of what I created and what kind of things I'm tracking. One thing that is really important, I think, for follow-up is knowing what your customers like and don't like. if you go out to a customer and you want to follow up with them, let's say, like for me, squeeze the day, lemon sorbet were my favorites. My consultant would always reach out to me and let me know when it was going away, when it was coming back. And that was like, oh, yeah, I do love that. So that's something like customers really love. They want to hear that you remember and and they don't know that you're writing it down in a binder, right? They don't know how you're tracking it. They just know that you remember that they love that scent. So that for me personally is something that I do. I kind of remember a lot of stuff too, but I definitely love to have those little details because when I'm talking to them, that is something that I could definitely draw into and get their, like, oh, she's thinking of me, that customer service in that follow-up. Staying consistent, even if you're hearing nothing back or if you're hearing a no. A no doesn't mean that they don't want you to follow up with them. I've had customers, friends that have like literally like ghosted me, and like the fifth time that I've messaged, and I'm not saying I like hound them, I'm saying like over time, like over a few months, but like literally the fifth time they're like, oh, thank you so much, I've been so busy. So everyone has a life, everyone has that, like, kids, family, husband, work, whatever it is. So following up, I have a lot of times heard from my consultants, my teammates that, well, I followed up, but they didn't respond. So for me personally, I never have had anyone, I don't think I've had maybe one person tell me never to talk to them again. And the only reason that happened was because she had another consultant that was already doing the follow-up and the samples. So she's like, please don't waste your money. I already have a consultant, because she bought through a party. So that's the only time that I've ever had someone say, don't contact me again. So literally something that you want to keep in mind when you're doing your follow-up is that you're just giving them the customer service. You're just giving them what any, like, direct sales, obviously, because Target and Walmart and all these places don't do that, but they send emails. You're just giving them what's available, what's there, what's coming, whatever it is. And you're just following up. You're just doing your job. I know a lot of times you've heard this where you're a restaurant or whatnot, do you want dessert with your, whatever? And then people will say, no, I don't want the dessert. Does that mean they're not going to go ask? Brianna, I think, said this last time, and I actually use this too with the fries. So it's like, do they ask me fries? And at first I'm like, no. Oh, wait, you know what? Actually, I do want the fries. Or, oh yeah, I do want the dessert. Because it takes a few times. Well, guess what, friends? And this is something I've learned along the way, but it was actually in that form that I printed, saying that it takes, like, let me see what it actually said, because I don't remember now. It takes like, I can't find it, like the 15th time for a customer, or whatever it is. I think it was 15th or 12th time for a customer to actually decide. So you do have customers that sometimes when you're following up with them, they just don't know yet, or they don't have the money, or they don't have the time to like devote to talking to you because the kids are screaming, or whatever it is, right? I have 4 grandchildren that live with me. So I definitely know that life can get crazy. So I definitely tell people, just be consistent. Being consistent is going to give you that, like, okay, I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing my follow-up. I'm just doing my customer service. I'm not bothering them. I'm just doing what's needed to sustain my business. And that is what people love about me. They love the fact that I check in. They love the fact that I go to them. And it's not just the end of the month. Let's be clear about that. Follow-up is consistently doing it, whether you do it once a week, every other day, if you do it, 5 times a week, whatever your schedule fits, whatever you can put into your business for a follow-up, whether it's an hour a week for your power hour, put it on your calendar and devote your time to that, and keep consistent with that. And my customers know that I'm going to follow up with them when I'm placing a local order. My customers know that I'm not going to just go to them at the end of the month when I need to reach my goal. They know that I'm reaching a goal all through the whole month. They know that I'm consistently working my business, because not only am I on my VIP page constantly and sharing my life and everything that's going on, but I'm messaging, sending emails, texting them, PMing them, or whatnot. So that consistency really helps. And that no does not mean no forever. It means just not right now. So staying on top of your orders, especially after they've received them, and getting that tracker going in either the Google form or your paper form or whatever it is, like Amy had, where it would say, okay, this customer hasn't ordered in 2 months. Those are the people that you want to start kind of following up with. So that definitely is something that I stay consistent with. I definitely look at those people that haven't purchased with me in 2 months that I'm going to follow up with, that haven't maybe responded to the text message. I just wanted to check back with you and let you know that, sorry, my granddaughters are now banging up the door. And I'm going to get squirrely. Sorry. So that for me personally is very important, that I keep track of that in some way or another. So with Amy being gone, I was like, what am I going to do? Because I can't always remember, obviously, who bought what, when, where, whatever, right? So having that Google form will be helpful, or pen and paper if you're like me and you like the old school. So just, I have to take a sip, sorry. Just as long as you're having something that's tracking it. So in the comments, do you have something, and any questions? I'm not done yet. I do have one more thing I'm going to say, but my granddaughters are banging at the door and I do not want to keep talking because my brain is like, I don't know where mom went. So anyways, that, I mean, really is what I do. I use Amy, obviously I was using Amy, but I also was keeping my own tracking device. Okay. So samples, thank you gifts, whatnot. That is another huge part. To me, if you're going to give a sample to somebody, or you're going to get them a catalog, or you're going to give them a gift, maybe not a gift, because a gift, I don't expect them to say anything to me. But if I'm giving them a catalog or a sample or something, I need to know what I gave to that customer in order to follow up with them, right? So I am tracking that. And I actually was doing that like in a binder like this, our little notebooks that we got at SFR or something like that. I was using that. So having that tracking system for samples and catalogs or whatever you're giving to your customers is so important. That, I think, has given me the ability to go back and get orders, because literally I had a gal that was so unhappy that the paranormal pumpkin had so much missing. Like there was so much light shining through and there was like all this space. And she was like, I can't do this. It just doesn't work. And I was like, oh, no, let's just change out the light bulb. I'll give you an orange bulb. And I insisted, don't give me any money. I'm just going to give you that light bulb. And she was like, are you sure? And I said, no, I'm just going to give it. So I dropped it off. She gave me an envelope and I knew she gave me that $2. And I was like, okay, I'm going to take it. I took it, but okay. Then I followed up with her because I didn't hear from her. And I said, I just wanted to follow up with you. How did that light bulb work out? And she's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know you guys had colored light bulbs, but I've shared it a lot. But she actually just joined my VIP page, been a customer for months, but just joined. So she was like, I didn't even know. Thank you so much for following up with me. It looks beautiful. So that kind of stuff keeps my customers like engaged with me. It keeps my customers like knowing that I am on top of things, knowing that I pay attention to those little details. And I've had many times customers tell me like, I love that you follow up with me because I'm so spaced half the time, or I'm so busy half the time or whatnot. So having that follow-up system, not only when they place orders and you want to say thank you and who to contact for orders when you need to make that PRV goal, but to also follow up when you're giving them samples or giving them a catalog to see, hey, have you had time to look at that catalog? I'm going to be placing an order on the 15th if you want free shipping or whatever it is. I have had many times people tell me, I want to place an order and then not come back to me. So a lot of people, they may just let that go because the customer didn't come back to them, right? But not me. I make sure I follow up with that customer. I make sure that I'm writing down in my notes that they want me to call them back or text them back or whatever in a couple of days. So that to me is like very important, that I'm tracking those conversations as well. Not just like, okay, I'll try to remember to get back to you. Like, no, I don't tell my customers that. I say, I will let you know, I will get back to you. And I always follow up before the order date. So that, is key for me. I think that's about it. I'm trying to think about anything else while I'm reading my notes. Yeah, I think that's about it. Just letting your customers know, that they are appreciated and not just at the end of the month. That is a huge part for me for follow-up. So I think that's it though.